ever wondered why most robotics teams crash out early while a few soar to the finals? After helping thousands learn robotics with Lego and coaching one team to the WRO Global Finals, I've learned what every team needs to know. So in this video I'm going to show you 7 key lessons that will save your team from rookie mistakes and make winning simpler than you think. It's tempting to dream big and jump straight into the national or even international robotics competitions. But let's be real, if your robot isn't ready or your team hasn't worked together under pressure, you're risking a lot more than just your pride. You're risking your team's confidence, your school's trust, and let's face it, a chunk of your wallet. In 2023, I coached a high school team for the World Robot Olympiad. Our school's robotics budget was pretty close to zero, so before even thinking about the nationals, we decided to test our robot and our teamwork at a local competition just 2 hours away by train. No expensive flights, no hotels, no "you waste our money" looks from the school principal. Instead, we faced teams just like ours, rookies, nervous, but eager to learn. We didn't just avoid blowing our budget, we came home with a win, and more importantly, a team full of confidence. Local competitions are designed for learning and fun, not for draining your savings. They're less intense, full of teams just starting out, and perfect place to make mistakes without big consequences. So, if you're coaching a rookie team or you're a team member just starting out, do yourself a favor. Start local. Save your money for when you're truly ready. Use these smaller events to build your team's skills, boost confidence, and get a taste of competition without the pressure of going global too soon. Once you've started building your team's confidence in local competition, there's something even more crucial to protect: your team's reputation. To go to the WRO Global Final, we first had to pass the national championships. There everything seemed to be going fine until out of nowhere our robot started spinning in circles during the trial runs. There were no code errors, no broken parts. We were stumped. My students dove in to troubleshoot and finally they found the problem. Someone from another team had quietly unplugged one of our sensors, just enough to break the contact but not enough to notice at a glance. We reported it, but with no clear proof and a surprisingly relaxed atmosphere. The judges didn't disqualify the other team. But here's the twist: their sabotage didn't help them. They still lost, for reasons I'll share soon, and their reputation probably lost for good. Trying to sabotage another team is like drilling a hole in your competitor's boat. You might slow them down for a moment, but you're almost guaranteed to sink your own reputation in the process. And it's not just students. Coaches can get caught up too. I saw some trying to signal tips from the sidelines, even though that can get a team disqualified just as fast as tampering with a robot. So here's the lesson. Guess what? Play well. Never ever cheat or sabotage. Play fair, compete hard, and protect your integrity. These contests aren't about cash prizes. They're about learning, growth, and building a name you can be proud of. One bad decision can erase months of effort and stain your team's name for good. If you want to win for real, build your skill, not shortcuts. After seeing how sabotage can ruin a team's chances, you might think the safest path is just to follow in the footsteps of teams who've already won. But sometimes, what looks like a shortcut can turn into a trap of its own. Let's go back to that team. Sabotage wasn't their only downfall. What really cost them the competition was something even more revealing. When I looked closely at their robot, something jumped out. It was a perfect clone, both hardware and software, of a famous team's previous design. The original Taiwanese team had generously shared their design and code online for others to study and learn from. But that team, they just copied everything. No tweaks and no understanding. They didn't even know which parameters controlled their robot's behavior. The judges didn't notice. But as soon as the competition started, their lack of understanding became obvious. When things went wrong, they had no idea how to fix it. Copying a robot's design without understanding is like running a marathon in someone else's shoes. Painful, awkward, and guaranteed to slow you down. So what's the real lesson here? It's smart to learn from others. But you have to understand what you're using. Study proven robot designs, reverse engineer them, adapt them, but don't just copy blindly. If you use someone else's solution, make sure you know how and why it works. That way, when things go wrong, and they will, believe me, you can fix, adjust, and improve rather than freeze up. And if you want to learn how to do this the smart way, check out my robotics competition model in the Academy. I'll put a link below this video. You'll find checklists, strategies, and easy to understand code libraries. So you're not just copying, you're building real understanding and real confidence. But copying blindly isn't the only way teams hand themselves the L. Sometimes the biggest slip up happens not in what you copy, but in how you prepare for the big day. I still remember the night before the competition. I was hanging out with my team in the hotel hallways. We were relaxed, confident, and quite ready for the next day. That's when we noticed another team rolling out their huge competition mat right in the common area, looking anything but calm. This young team was frantically trying to finish the robot's code just hours before the event. They kept running the robot again and again, tweaking values randomly, hoping for a miracle. But there was no plan, just guesswork. The result, the robot's performance was all over the place. Sometimes it worked, but more often it failed in spectacular, heartbreaking ways. You could see they had some potential, but last-minute improvisation turned it into a disaster. Improvising your robot's code at the last minute is like adding salt to a recipe without tasting it. You might get lucky, but you're more likely to end up with something so salty it turns your tongue into beef jerky. So how do you avoid falling into this trap? Don't improvise on competition day. Never show up with incomplete or untested code. Test your robot thoroughly before you get to the event. So on the big day, you can focus on doing your best, not scrambling to fix last-minute problems. Your robot and your nerves will thank you. So now that we've cleared the worst mistakes off the table, let's switch gears. Here are the do's, habits and tactics that will save your team time, reduce stress, and might be the reason you rank higher than you thought possible. Imagine your team spent months designing and perfecting your robot. It's fast, precise, and reliable. But at the last minute, someone makes a tiny adjustment just because it feels like so. When the judges slide the official plexiglass sizing box, which is a standard check at competitions, onto your robot, it turns out it's just one Lego unit too wide. Even a cable sticking out too far can push you over the limit, and suddenly your perfect robot is disqualified. I've seen this exact scenario happen, and trust me, if you don't know how to fix it at once, it's heartbreaking. I've seen kids crying. I shouldn't laugh. Not knowing the rules by heart could be as bad as training for months to run the 100-meter dash, only to show up and find out it's a potato sack race. Just picture the scene. So, what does it really mean to know the rules? Don't just read the rules. Memorize them. Break them down into clear groups. Print them out. Hang them visibly on your lab walls. Every time someone has to stop and recheck the rule book, you're losing valuable time and focus. If your team knows the rules inside out and even the scoring of each mission, you can confidently build, adjust, and compete without fear of last-minute surprises. Your competition and your sanity depends on it. So you've memorized the rules and dodged the heartbreak of last-minute disqualification, but there's another common trap that can trip up even the most rule-savvy teams. Too often, I see teams, sometimes with huge enthusiasm, rush straight into building the robots, who doesn't love Lego building, and jump right on coding. But after a few hours, things start to unravel. Robots get rebuilt, code gets rewritten, and frustration takes over. Instead of making progress, everyone's stuck in a cycle of fixing and refixing. Building a robot without a plan is like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Maybe you end up with a fancy villa, but you leave dozens of people waiting outside who actually needed an apartment building. So how do you make sure your team doesn't fall into this trap? Here's the process that sets winning teams apart. Read and clearly understand the mission rules and tasks. Brainstorm openly as a team. All ideas welcome, but then narrow down to what's realistic. Identify the simplest, highest value tasks. Use the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of the tasks that yield 80% of the points. Decide what to skip or delay. Don't waste time on the hardest missions early on. Define your robot's requirements. For example, we'll need 2 line sensors and a passive hook. Create a simple storyboard. Draw sketches on mini field mats, or move a mock-up robot across the real field to simulate each step of the mission. Write your program in plain language pseudocode first. Implement and test each mission subtask individually. Once every submission is solid, stitch everything together and test for reliability. Aim for 95%. Your robot should fail no more than once in 20 attempts. This step-by-step planning builds your team's confidence and lets you make real progress, one small win at a time, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of the whole mission. And if you want guided templates, checklists, and clear examples to make this process even easier, my Academy's Robotics Competition module walks you through every step. So, with your strategy mapped out and your team focused on the right tasks, you might think you're ready for anything. But there's another crucial insight, the difference between good teams and truly great ones, that I learned firsthand on the world stage. At the Panama Global Finals of the World Robot Olympiad, we found ourselves surrounded by seasoned veterans. Some students had been competing at WRO since elementary school, and a few were at their 5th World Final. Right next to us was the Swiss team that would go on to win the senior category. Watching them work was eye-opening. They were calm, methodical, and prepared for anything. But what really stood out wasn't their robot speed or fancy tricks. It was their approach. Steady, reliable, and unshakable. Even when the pressure was on and the rules threw in unexpected twists. That's when I realized winning isn't about being the fastest. It's about being precise, methodical, and ready for surprises. And honestly, that's the skill set employers are looking for all around the world and what schools should be preparing students for. Think of it this way, which hairdresser would you trust with your hair? The one who rushes and leaves you with random tufts and shaved patches? Or the one who takes their time and gets every cut right? In robotics, precision always beats speed, especially when the rules can change at the last minute. So how do you build that kind of reliability and calmness under pressure? Here's how to train a team to compete like the champions. Regularly practice unexpected scenarios. Invent surprise missions, just like the ones you'll face on the second day of WRO or at RoboCup Junior. Always use stable field references. Rely on lines or walls for navigation, not just motor rotation sensor which can drift and cause errors. Use the gyro sensor only if you truly understand how it works. It's powerful but tricky, and yes, I covered this in depth in my competition module. Build and master reusable code libraries. This lets you adapt quickly and confidently even when the pressure is on. If you want to know exactly how to program your robot to move with laser precision, glide along lines, master the gyro sensor, and turn your ideas into code that actually works, watch this next.